I guess here it is. Just waiting. Okay. There we are. I'm trying to. I need to mute myself. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to edition number 318. 318, that's not a number. 318 of the Turin Giants podcast. We will be chatting about the Milan game that happened yesterday. The thriller of two pragmatic coaches. My name is Farhad. I'm the host that loves you most. There we go. We're getting the comments going. We are live on YouTube. You can listen and watch this on Spotify and Apple. I'm joined here by the return of Jack and Damiano. What's up, boys?
What's going on? How you doing, Farhad?
I'm well. Thank you for joining me, boys. Jack, is this your second or third appearance with us?
This is podcast number 3.
Ooh, podcast number 3. Yeah, you're becoming a great, reliable backup, let me tell you. And speaking of reliable backups, Rav, he couldn't make it last minute. He was really sorry. This was supposed to be the return of Rav as well, but it's okay. We will plug along without him. Frederick will be joining us a little later. I think it's good that he will have some time to calm down a little bit. He was livid. Alessandro Belpiero is here. Before we get into the game, I want to say hello to the people in the chat, YouTube. This is all new to me. Having people watch us on YouTube. This is so new. So I apologize if there's any discrepancies, but I'll try to keep the chat engaged. I see a member of our podcast, Zach, is in the chat as well. He's following along. It's not a rule that you have to be on every single podcast. We gave Zach a little time off to do his job and be a productive citizen. Jack, if you're trying to say something, you're muted. Speaking of Jack, I wanted to ask you, you said you have plans of going to see Juventus, and we always love hearing about what game you're going to and what's the plan. Talk to us.
Yeah, so we're headed in November. The original plan was to try to do a double, get in the Champions League game against Sporting on the 4th of November, followed by the Derby against Torino on the 8th. Those Derby tickets sold out so quickly. By the time we were looking, anything we could find, they weren't the best seats. Taking my kids, so I want them to have good seats. So we started to explore some other options. So we're actually seeing another game the weekend before, since we're going to be there for the prior weekend. But we're going to see Milan Roma at the San Siro on the 2nd of November. Should also be a great match.
Before they tear her down, huh?
Before they tear her down, that's the whole idea. I haven't been there for 12 years, so excited.
Well, Damiano had amazing words to say about the San Siro as well.
I mean, it's definitely falling apart.
It's a hazard, right? It's worth it, but it's a little hazard. I've never been, man. Such a bummer. I mean,
for sure.
I'm not too crazy about their away seats. Like Juve, every time there's a video from the stands, I mean, it feels like you are in the stratosphere.
Way up in the sky. Yeah, you're way up, like you're with in the clouds. You're in the away section.
I feel like Juve at the Allianz, they got the idea of the away section correct. Like if you see Arsenal, there's a whole behind the goal section dedicated to away fans, which if your team concedes, it feels like a little uncomfortable with the whole section cheering behind you. But I feel like Allianz we're just talking about how Allianz is a pretty comfortable stadium, isn't it?
Oh, it's definitely the best.
Pretty much see everything. It's the opposite. They took the lesson from Delle Alpi, which was at some point the furthest seat, the distance from the furthest seat to the goal was 300 meters. Like definitely very 90s stadium with a running track around it. But yeah, it's a fun experience.
Guys who don't watch soccer building stadiums,
Say it again.
That's what happens when you get guys who don't know the sport. They're building the stadiums.
Yeah, the running track is such a disappearing thing. Is there any stadiums left with a running track around it still?
Napoli. I
Stadio
think.
Olimpico.
Yeah,
Olympico Napoli. Yeah, that's right.
And I
I mean, we're
I thought Fiorentina might have it, but I think they might have put grass over it or something. But they used to have one too.
we're not even going to talk about the state of stadiums in Italy. Yeah, San Siro, have fun, man. It's going to be amazing. You're going for which game? Milan who?
Milan Roma.
That should be a good match. Yeah.
Might be
I
a
don't know.
battle by the time we get there.
I wish you a fun experience, but I'm also wishing for a draw.
Draw. 100%. 100%.
You know?
I was thinking the same thing.
Go draw. Am I right?
Mhm.
Speaking of
Oh,
draws,
yeah.
man, what a thriller, right? Let's talk about the game yesterday. You know what? Let's take care of a little bit of business first. I always forget, and I run a podcast, and I feel like I'm when people tune in, I feel like I'm bothering with them with all the info. But please follow us on Instagram at Turin Giants, youtube.com/Turin Giants official. We hit 403 followers now. By the way, I just remembered that I didn't play the intro. We'll take care of that in a little bit. Oh, here's Frederick also. Frederick, what's up, buddy?
Good evening. I'm a bit ill, but it's okay.
It's all good, man. We're at least you look very good on on video, wiping your nose. But we'll plug along, man. I appreciate you stepping in last minute. Usually, I like to have 4 people with us here. Rav had to cancel. He apologizes, but we'll catch him later. What do you guys say we play the intro and get into the thriller that we witnessed yesterday? Shall we? And still technically applies.
Buongiorno. Come ha detto lei, buongiorno. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno indeed. Boys and girls, let's get into this. Who can tell me when was the last time Allegri visited the Juventus or Allianz Stadium as a visitor last, as a coach of the opposing team? Who can tell me? It's okay. It's a difficult question. We won't bore the audience with the guesses. October 2013, when Milan came to visit Juventus. For bonus points, boys and girls, who can tell me what was the score? Back when? No? Back when there were more than 2 goals between Juve and Milan, right? The score was 3-2. One of the fastest goals scored at the Allianz, Sale Muntari, with a 19-second strike. Isn't that crazy? 19 seconds. And we came back 3-1. Goals from Pirlo from free kick, Giovinco and Chiellini. But of course, the main story of this game was the return of Allegri. What are your feelings about Allegri? For example, let's ask Jack. You know, there's mixed feelings about Allegri. I want to hear your opinion. What say you?
Just zooming in specifically on yesterday, I was happy to see the crowd applaud him and give him some kudos. I think he worked really hard. I think if you zoom out and look at Allegri's work with Juventus as a collective, his first, time around was definitely much better than the second. But I think the credit he deserves for that year where we spent more time in court than we did on the field is really understated. I can't imagine, having coached myself, the difficulty of trying to keep players motivated. You're docked points and you get points back, and then you're docked points again. And with all the struggles they had that season, I think for him to keep our head above water and still finishing third before losing the points, if I'm not mistaken, dropping us to seventh. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. You know, the challenges there with man management, with motivation, tactically with injuries that season. I think he did a ton of great work, and I was happy yesterday. You know, they did the lineup, and there were a couple of boos and whistles for a bunch of the Milan players, and then when his name was announced at the end, I think he got his just desserts and got some credit where credit was definitely due, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he's all right in my book. Plus a ton of Scudetti won and 2 trips to the Champions League finals. I mean, you can Allegri's time at Juve, you can literally just sit there and fill up an hour and a half podcast with the downfalls and you know, games that should have been won and Champions League mishaps. But I want to hear Frederick say something about Allegri. I'm curious.
Well, I've
What he
nothing
thinks
but
about our
respect. I've nothing but respect for him, but I feel the whole return to Allianz is a bit forced.
overblown.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget he did his job. He did an amazing job. I think we're forever indebtful to what he's done and meant for Juventus. But and this is speaking to Juventus as a whole, let go of the past. I mean, we're always circling back to the past, and I appreciate the fact that we can give him his kudos and his well deserves and whatnot. But let's not blow things out of proportion. And
Yeah.
let's just say he had some good cheers. Let's leave it at that. And I was never a fan of Allegri as a coach in terms of his play style, which I feel is warranted. It's an opinion nonetheless, but it's warranted, I feel. But he did deliver results. So we have to be indebtful to him and be grateful for what he's done. But leave it at that, move on. And
Gotcha.
I think we need to move on as a whole in Juventus, because all this circling back never brings back any good things.
Well said. By the way, we hit double digits of viewers on YouTube, and kids are always happy to see double digit viewers on Instagram. Comment from Yorio. Hey, our number one supporter. I feel like we can say that about Yorio. Allegri deserves all the flowers, he wrote in all caps. Well, let's get into the games, right? First, we love to dissect the starting lineup a little bit. Frederick, help me out with this one. So we Tudor fielded the team with 3-4-2-1 formation. De Gregorio, Gatti, Rugani, Kelly, and then Kalulu on the right. Weston McKennie, Cambiaso, Conceição, and Yildiz and David.
No cope miners, thank God.
Yeah, I would have been really mad. But who's the guy that let's say Freddie, who's the guy that doesn't belong on the starting lineup in your opinion? Or
Kalulu
guys?
on that spot for me.
Man,
Kalulu
Kalulu.
was wasted. I honestly, yeah, I'm still trying to make sense of that move. Can't figure it out
I
even
think
still
he's
today.
I think he is defensively reliable. That's the only reason why we would, put him there.
Yeah, but he's
Um,
also the guy who, has to run across the wing and provide key passes or chip
which
in
he
balls or
doesn't.
whatever, which he doesn't. So yeah, I was a bit baffled, and time proved me right. Then McKennie, I think his last game was against Villarreal, very, very, very poor. He got another spot, okay, but I think he once again proved that he's not. Yeah, he's not Juve material. I'm just gonna say it how it is. There's a lot of people on this team that, for me, are not Juve material.
Do you
And
have
we
any do you have any scoops pertaining to McKennie's future?
sadly no. There's I think something planned around the middle of November, with all the players that are basically end of contract. I don't know where it's going, and frankly, to be honest, I don't really even care, because if we keep bringing in players that are not good enough, I had a discussion yesterday, and it's we keep falling into the same errors, and whether McKennie stays or not for me is pretty irrelevant. If he stays, and he provides to be a decent player, let him play. If not, goodbye, so long. The only thing is, if he does leave, we need to replace him with somebody that's better. And if we don't start doing that for every position on the field, then we're not going to see any results. Because I hear a lot of negative criticism about Tudor, which is rightful in my opinion. But if Tudor made all the right moves this whole season, I'm not sure that it would amount to great difference. Because quality-wise, we're a mediocre team. And I'm sorry to put it that way, but that's my opinion. I don't think we have 3 or 4 Juventus worthy players in your whole selection. That's about it. If those players don't show up like Thuram couldn't and Yildiz had an off day, then these are the results.
Yeah. Well, game itself was never going to be fireworks, right? It's Tudor going against Allegri. And to be honest, I've stopped looking forward to the games against Milan. Juventus Inter is a different animal. Like, am I wrong? Let's take a look at the last.
It was like 0-0. I believe the first around the same time. It was like November or something. We played.
Well, last few games. So let's take, for example, starting 2023, May, Milan won 1-0, and then Juventus won 1-0. Next 2 games in 2024 both ended 0-0, and then the first game where 3 goals were scored in a long time, Milan beat us 2-1, and then Juventus Milan 2-0, and then 0-0 yesterday. So has a history of being kind of a pragmatic fixture, doesn't it? So, but 0-0s are always kind of a bummer. But this wasn't a regular 0-0, right? It was a decent game. It was a snooze fest first half. We won't mention the first half. I've got some notes here, but boring. If you missed the first half, you're fine with it, right? So let's talk about
As a whole, I'm sorry to interrupt, Farah.
Yeah,
but
please. That'll give me a chance to regroup here too. Go ahead.
if you look at the pace of the game overall, and the next channel was a rerun of Liverpool Chelsea from the day before. And I was switching back and forth, and it's like 2 different sports that are being played. It's amazing. And Zach coming in clutch here with 5 chances. I don't see them as chances. I disagree with Zach on that one. I don't think, and this pertains to events as a whole. We don't see those open chances that we need to be creating. I think it's always some individual thing or the miss from another team or an error in the back line or whatever that leads to us getting opportunities. It's almost never a fully played out opportunity that we create. And this is also why the game yesterday was a bit of a snooze fest, because you saw and you had that feeling that Allegri would play on the counter, as he always does. He has the players to do so, rightfully. And we were just not able to, make our moves, especially the first half, where you expect the Juventus to come out all guns blazing. We were very tame, very non-responsive, and whatever the reason it is, we always seem to throw a half away every game by doing absolutely nothing. I don't know as to why. I don't know if there's a reasoning behind it. But if you look at Juventus games for the past 10, 15 games, we only played those games for one half.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very frustrating to me because yesterday, even though Milan had, in my opinion, the better chances with the penalty and the misser from Leao, I think if we would have played at 85% of our capabilities, this was a game that we should have won, as was the game against Atalanta, even the Villarreal game. Yet we end up with 5 draws. And the sad reality is that if we keep on continuing this path, we're not going to see any, and we're not going to reap any rewards at the end of the season. I even feel that at this point, fourth place, which is our keepsake, the thing that we're chasing this season, is going to be very difficult to obtain if we keep on playing the way we do.
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you brought up the last 5 draws. Um, which one? Let's see. Which games out of all those 5 draws we should have won? Because Villarreal, they're strong. They're in good form. It's Champions League game away.
2-1 in the 88th minute, 87th minute. We should have brought that home for sure.
Which one is that?
Villarreal, we were up 2-1.
Yeah.
We had the lead.
Yeah.
I mean, even if how strong they are, we were ahead of them. We should have closed that game out.
I guess you're right. But
Right.
I'm thinking in terms of drawing Verona. That was awful.
Atalanta definitely too. I feel like
Yeah.
second
Draws
half
are
of
definitely
Verona wasn't good.
draws are killing us. Hopefully,
Jack, can I ask you a question, because it's not often that you are a guest on our pods, and thank you for joining, by the way. I have a feeling, this is my personal feeling. Apart from the Verona game, because we were clearly robbed, we didn't play well, but we got robbed. I don't see any similar games between Atalanta, Villarreal, and Milan in the way of the flow of the game, yet the result is the same. Because if you look at it, objectively, I think Atalanta, we were the better team, but we were kind of lackluster to create any chances. Villarreal, we stepped up one half after an annoying first half, and we decided, hey, we got balls, let's use them. And the Milan game yesterday, for me, was overall like, we don't feel like playing, neither does Milan, so let's just stick with this 0-0. That's good enough for us. That's the feeling I got. But don't you feel, I mean, you've coached yourself, that if a team randomly obtains these kinds of draws, but with different aspects of every game, that there's an underlying issue there, be it tactically, be it mentally, be it physically, because it's not like Mota, because
how
Mota
about
we
all of
saw.
those?
Yeah, but with Mota, you saw the same play every game. So you could see the draw coming a mile away. Whereas with this team, you never know what you can expect in terms of, even though that the results are still draws, you have these games that are so different in the way that we handle them or that we finish them even. So I feel, is there an underlying issue there that you feel as a coach that maybe is influenced by the coach or by the players?
I think yesterday, I think all 3 games were different, right? And the circumstances around the draws were all different. Just to sort of reiterate what you said and put my little 2 cents into it. Thinking back to the Atalanta game, I think we came out hot. I think tactically we were set up well. I think again we were being progressive and trying to work towards scoring. I think we got a little bit unlucky in that game, and then the second half, we were a little bit more flat. I definitely think Villarreal was almost the opposite, right? We came out, we were asleep. And the one thing I don't like is Tudor seems to always have an excuse. Everyone's great, everyone's healthy. We're going to have a strong starting lineup. We're going for it. We want to win. But then immediately afterwards as well, Cambiaso's tired or Yildiz is tired. And I don't think they created enough. And yesterday, I feel like watching that game, I was almost asleep in the first half. And I think the only thing they were trying to do was, I want to give the ball to Chico or Yildiz and see what they can do. And Yildiz Bartesagi's number, right? I almost, at the end of the half, a number of times he was trying to beat him to the byline or to the end line, excuse me. I thought he was baiting him and going to make that move inside at some point, and he just never did. He just never did. And then right towards the beginning of the second half, right before the Gatti chance, I think it led to the corner. Chico made the same exact move again, and Bartesaghi took the step and just cleared the ball beyond the end line and didn't even allow him to get across it. It just seems like the lack of creativity in all 3 games, is what's killing us. And I don't know where that creative spark is going to come from, especially when the coach insists on, particularly yesterday, taking your 2 most creative players off the field. And I'm sorry, Farhad, I know you want to talk about subs later, but taking your 2 most creative players off of the field and putting, first, you relocate 2 of your defenders, right, to put Kalulu back where he belongs. And then you push Weston up, which to me also made no sense. And then you saw the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, we were passing the ball sideways. It looked like nobody wanted the ball. Nobody wanted to win. It was just awful to watch. So while the score lines all read pretty much the same, that we ended in a draw, I think there's a mentality there that's lacking to go for the game. And then there are some tactical gaps, which are not allowing us to be creative in the final third or preventing us from being creative in the final third. And then the physicality, again, I think that's always tough as a fan to judge, right? We're not in the training sessions. We're not in the physio rooms. We don't know who's at 100%, who's feeling it, who's not. But I think there's definitely a physical piece that's missing. And this team hasn't played that many games, right? We forget what it's 7 games in the spring and 7 games or 8 games now. It's not a huge sample size for us to go with to judge what he's going to do. But I think you've said it in the past. I don't see him learning. And while I'm not ready to jump ship, that's my biggest concern right now is his rigidity and the lack of progressive movement and just his thinking around the games and how he sets us up to go and attack the other teams and go for wins, which is what we should be doing.
Sometimes quality of the game frustrates me so much because when you see, I know we're not a top team, but we should at least show our players should show some kind of quality, some kind of I like the word that Frederick used. I even named the previous podcast about panache. Where's the panache? A player receives a ball, does the first couple of moves correctly, and then when you need to either give a great pass or cross, just look at the quality of our crosses, even from people who should be crossing. Kostic, hitting the defender, and then I think it was Kalulu a couple of times sent the crosses into nowhere. If we were like, I don't know what needs to happen. Obviously, I'm not out there, but I'm like a coach from the couch. I don't know, sofa couch. I don't know what they're called, but basically, what I see is lack of quality in passing, lack of quality in crossing. Don't know what needs to happen. It's like they've never seen the ball before. Am I wrong? Like, when you guys watch the game, do you feel confident that this cross will hit the intended target?
I think we don't move off the ball that's a huge thing.
Thank you.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, that's what I noticed yesterday. We're not moving off the ball. No one's running into an open space. We're not making. It's just like, okay, we pass it and we stand. Or you see, I saw Cambiaso a couple times. Just kind of I don't know. He's just prancing. I mean, trotting. It's but not to an open space. It's like, if you're going to do that, just try to find the open space so somebody could get in there, and then they could have an option. You know what I mean? To pass it. It just gets stagnant.
We have limited players. I think we can all agree there that quality is not on par as, let's say our 2016, 17, 18 squad. I mean, it's plain for everybody to see. But if you look at it in hindsight, also our good friend Antonio Conte didn't have as many quality players when he arrived. But what was his thing? He managed to get 120% out of those players. And he was the best at masking their negative sides and fortifying their positives. And if you do that and you have a team that plays the whole season under 120% of their capabilities, then you'll get results. And you'll also get this group feeling because everybody's going for it, at 120%. Whereas now you have a coach that comes out after the last 3 draws, and you can fact check me all you want. He came out after the draw on Atalanta saying he was fairly happy with a point. He did the same with Villarreal, and he did the same yesterday. If you're a Juventus, and let's be honest, we haven't played Real Madrid or Barcelona yet, but if you draw against a lackluster Juric managed Atalanta, which was struggling to find their steps still, you then
Mbappe's gonna spank us.
No, but you then move on to Spain, and let's be honest, this Villarreal wasn't a team that impressed me. I think there were maybe 1 or 2 players, but as a team, it wasn't like, ooh. And with Milan, the same, because if you see, the formation and the people they're playing, I mean, one would have to assume Juventus at home, this would be a win. Maybe not an easy one, but this should be a win. So if you then come out and say, yeah, we did all we could, and I'm happy with the point, to your players, you kind of give off the vibe like, hey, we did well.
And they're young kids. They take those words seriously. Like if the coach says that, you guys, I'm pretty sure a couple of you guys coached before. What what those words would do to a young player is just so wrong. Maybe he says different in the locker room. Maybe he's
Of
just trying to
course,
be.
but
I think what
it
you say to the media also matters, though, right? I know people write it off, and I know sometimes coaches play the media, but I think saying that publicly is very different, right? If you're a
Yeah.
player and you're listening to that, this mediocrity is okay with our coach. So this mediocrity is okay with me. I mean, great. Say it in the locker room, but go say it out to the whole world. I'm not okay with a 1-1 draw
Yeah.
without Atalanta. I'm not okay having the lead in the 90th minute on the road in the Champions League and giving up a corner kick where 9 of our players are in the box and 8 of them are ball watching. I'm not okay with that.
I saw Cambiasso yesterday at the post game. It was amazing because the man looked like he came straight out of a bathroom, no sweat or whatever. And he was just saying, "Yeah, we're a good team, and it's fun in the locker room, and we're all happy,
No,
and
I'm
it's
glad
all
he's having
good." And
fun.
I mean, it's nice. I mean, I love it. I mean, if you have a work environment that's all hunky dory and good to work and good for you, but
We got a hunky
uh,
dory.
yeah, we got a hunky dory. But if you're faced, and that was a little question, the reporter asked the question. Look, Cambiaso, it's the fifth draw in a row. Don't you think that this is something, on Juventus, that this is not worthy of Juventus? He said, "Oh no, but we're having fun. It's a great team, and the locker room spirit is great, and blah blah blah. Yeah, we should be able to do better, but yeah, what you gonna do? I mean, if you give that type of response, I'm sorry, but if I were the coach, you wouldn't start next game, no matter how good you were in training. You just wouldn't start, and yeah."
Well, I want to address a comment here on the page. Sami Musazadeh, how are you, my friend? He says, "How come Loka doesn't get any love?" Well, hold your horses, buddy. We got a show to run here. We got notes and everything. So let me take my glasses off here. Locatelli, most progressive passes by any midfielder in the top 7 leagues. Third most interceptions by any midfielder in the top 7 leagues. Leads all midfielders in Serie A with forward passes, sliding tackles, possessions won, and interceptions. So definitely a standout in this team. Someone who's trying to do their best. Am I?
I think his absence was felt against Villarreal. So when you
Sure.
look at those stats and you see him not in that game, I think it was felt. Not to throw poor Loka yesterday. He's definitely not getting any love after that boot to the crotch at like what minute 20 something yesterday. I felt that watching that on television.
What about Yıldız's nut shot, like 3 feet away, right? The line drive into the. Oh
But it's
man,
always
rough.
I get the Locatelli thing, and I'm not the biggest fan of Locatelli. I'll granted he's a decent midfielder, a very good one, but he just doesn't get the chance to shine in our team because everybody feels that Locatelli should be doing everything because we have no alternatives. Locatelli scores too few goals, true, but he was never a goal scorer. He gives too few assists, true. He never gave that many assists. He does what he can and where he's good at, but all other compartments of midfield are lacking. And that's why his role in the team is a bit diminished. Because if you see him recuperating a ball and he plays it into a midfielder that's technically gifted, and that midfielder sets up a through ball for a forward to score eventually, then he will get the credit. But he's a defensive midfielder, as Beppe just said, and that he's doing perfectly. The problem is, what after our defensive moves? We don't have a follow up on our defensive move. It's all just pass the ball to Yildiz, Conceição, maybe Jagrova, and see what happens. So there's nothing there to build upon, and that's what renders his performances, or at least it seems that way, makes his performances a bit underrated. And that's a
Mhm.
shame because if you give him a top-notch midfield or creative players, then he would shine more. It'd be somebody that we can applaud more. But now he does his work and nothing gets done after that, and that's very frustrating also for him, I think.
For him particularly, because I think if we had what do they have in hockey, that second assist, I bet
Yeah.
he'd have a ton of those, right? We probably grab that metric when we look at progressive passes. But if we had
I'm
that,
sure. I'm sure Zach has those notes somewhere. Speaking of applauding players, I know he's an opposition player, but Modric, man, what a pickup for Milan, right? Sounded like a joke when it happened. I didn't realize he'd be such an important part of the team. He's like a quarterback over there. He was giving those aerial passes that caused a lot of problems for us, including the penalty, which we'll touch on a little later. But Modric, man, we rarely give Alessandro Belpieros to opposition players, but you deserve it. Well, I wish we had that kind of player, right? Like that guy in the middle that distributes the balls left and right.
We could have got him in the off season. I mean, they got him, I think, on a free transfer.
Yeah, didn't go for it, right? Didn't go for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, made me miss Pirlo for a second yesterday. It was just this metronome in the midfield spraying.
We have Koopmeiners though.
Oh yes.
No, don't go there, Fred. Don't go there, Fred. Please, no.
What's the opposite of Alessandro Belpiero? We should have hold on. I know.
That wah sound that you play.
I know Zach here in the comments. Let's give Zach a little love. So first of all, look who joined us. Ciao Juventini of the world, Mr. Beppe is here. I actually wanted to mention that finally, 6 weeks later, I will be appearing on our joint show, Uncle Beppe with Turin Giants. I'll be on this Thursday. Very, very excited about it. All right, you know what? We'll save Jurgen's question for last. I really like that question. But here's something that I wrote down. Do you guys agree that this game was determined by the misses? Like this game could have been way more interesting than a 0-0 because of the insane misses that happened seemingly like out of nowhere. Like goals that would have been scored any other day just wouldn't go in, right? There was what are the couple of notable misses? The Gatti miss. I feel like people are giving too much credit to Magnan on this one. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Magnan, yeah.
Magnan. If you look at the replay, the ball stayed in the air for maybe half a second longer than it should have. Otherwise, it would have been a goal. Like, I'm not taking anything away from the save, but I feel like the distance, the height on the ball really favored him, and that save was incredible. But had it been a little lower, I feel like Gatti would have gotten to it fast. But it is what it is, right? Also, obviously, a penalty miss. Who wants to take on the beast that is the penalty itself, right? Do we all agree? What's the consensus around the room? Penalty, no penalty?
It was a light penalty, but it was poorly executed, I think.
I definitely say
my
penalty.
opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, penalty for sure. Kelly's not even looking at the ball.
Yeah, what is he doing there, right?
Listen, this is one of those situations where you have the trickle-down effect of Bremer not being on the field. You see how well Kelly plays when he has Bremer on his inside shoulder. He gives him some confidence to step up. That first Jimenez shot that went wide when he literally tracked from the right side of him. Right, that's just ridiculous to me.
That was some good old defending, wasn't it?
Also, this was the first time that I noticed that Kelly was a bit tired yesterday. I've spoken about him in high regards the past couple of games, rightfully so, I think. But yesterday, he genuinely seemed tired a bit. And, that's no excuse because, if you make a foul within the box, it's always a penalty and shouldn't happen. But I think your fatigue also affects you mentally by making poor choices or maybe being a bit more slower reaction-wise. But apart from that, I think he did a really good job, even with his fatigue. But that also shows how easily we are fooled defensively. I mean, there are so many holes there. Like, It's unbelievable. It's if we can't score, which will happen quite a number of games, because if Kenan or Chico are not in the game, then it's over. Then we should be able, to keep a clean sheet. And yesterday we did, but it was nothing short of miraculous, because it was a penalty miss, and Leao, that I don't know what he was doing, but that
Yeah.
ball needs to go in every time. So I'm not sure. Like, I said this on Beppe show as well. We don't excel in anything, not the defensive side, not in the midfield, and not up front. So are we going to keep, feeding into this mediocrity, or are we going to change something? And the only thing
Yeah.
we can change, because we can't buy any players, is to change the formation.
On the flip
Yeah.
side, I
Please,
think
Tudor, listen.
shout out to Regani, played pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
yeah,
solid. He's a stable.
he played solid. I mean, and that's what we're going
If-
for these
That's all
days.
we
If
ask.
somebody,
Yeah,
doesn't fuck up, then we're happy. And I'm a bit sad. I'm happy for Rugani, because playing 85 minutes after not played anything at all, practically, apart from that couple of minutes against Villarreal. I mean, it's noteworthy, very good. But we oh, he played a decent game. Woohoo! I mean, can we expect a bit more? I mean, also as a whole, not players individually, but can we expect a bit more? Like, I have people blowing up my DMs saying, "Oh, it's so unjustified that the people were whistling. Why shouldn't they whistle?
the
Why
last 30
shouldn't they?
seconds was ridiculous.
I mean, you pay a lot of money to follow your team everywhere, and the last thing you see is some intensity or a will to win. I feel they have every right to whistle, but that's just me, negative Nancy.
Negative Nancy. There it is. Well, let's take a look at some ratings here. Speaking of Rugani, he got a WhoScored.com gave him a 6.9 man of the match, Di Gregorio. I wanted to ask Negative Nancy over there in the top right corner. Your boy Di Gregorio, what'd you think? You had some choice words about him in our chat room,
Sell
right?
him, sell him, put him with the rubbish, make him kid boy, do whatever you want with him. I really don't care, but I hate to see that man in goal. I'm sorry. Yesterday, the same. He had a free kick, ball falling in, in between the posts. And what does my man do? He just waits and tries to fairy punch it away. Jump up, raise your arms, take the ball, get some authority in your box. He's never the person that commands any authority as a goalkeeper, and it makes me so, so sad. Like, once again, he's a good keeper.
He's
Is a
passable.
Juventus keeper.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
Osama here says that that deflected free kick that De Gregorio decided to punch instead of catching was so frustrating. He's learning,
Definitely.
right? I mean, can we just give Frederick, love you, no, you've been too hard on the guy. I think
no,
there's
no,
some there,
I
no,
don't feel I,
not
I
hard
I
enough.
haven't, no, not hard enough even. I mean, this is not. I mean, the fact that he doesn't get called up even for the national team speaks volumes as well.
Yeah. Well, all the good Italian keepers are taken, I guess.
And a good keeper for me wins points for your team. And there aren't many instances that I said, well, these are the points that we won thanks to Gregorio, because we kept the clean sheet because of him. I don't remember me ever stating that. And if he does, I'll be the first to, say mea culpa or whatever. But he didn't. And like Zach says in the chat, he's 28. What is he going to learn? If you get
Yeah.
an offer in, sell him.
And
Please,
let's be clear,
just
that was not
for
even
my
a punch.
mental
That
state.
was like a little like slap, like that. Like that wasn't even like a come out and punch the ball away. That was like a little slap. It was pretty funny.
Zach says he's still learning. Homie's 28. Listen, keepers, they can be old and still,
Good
learning.
keepers
So,
can, Di Gregorio can't.
oh man, no
Well,
love for Di Gregorio.
that other free
No,
kick
I'm
that
sorry.
banged right off his chest and right back into play in the box. I mean, luckily, none of the Milan players ran in and played that ball at the far post, but he went to catch that and it just slapped right off his chest and back down on the ground.
I wanted to give
Exactly.
shout outs to Seasiders TV, and I am on the wrong comment here. Thank you so much. Great pod, boys. How on earth are only 8 people watching this live? I'm sure this channel is set to explode soon. Wow. We're still working on it, 13 seasons in, man. But YouTube is definitely the next frontier. So we appreciate you. I mean, our first couple of lives were like 3-4 people watching. So having double digit viewers is awesome, and I want to give a shout out to everyone who's joined.
More progress than you are, so
piano piano.
For some reason, Uncle Beppe is asking me for my picture. I'm just kidding. He likes to put the photos in the thumbnails. We don't really do on this podcast. Like, no one, if you don't watch the YouTube, you don't really know what we look like, because we don't put like extra other videos out there or pictures of us. Nobody wants to see that, but I guess I'll send him a nice photo. Yeah. What else is here that I wanted to discuss? So yeah, Pulisic, if he doesn't go for trickery, if he doesn't go for that upper 90, maybe he was intimidated by Di Gregorio's size. Yeah, I know. Di Gregorio did dive the wrong way. I mean, we're talking about 3 points lost at this point. So I feel like in the conversation that I like, the question that I like to ask you guys, did we earn 2 points? I mean, did we earn 1 point or lose 2? I feel like in this case, we got lucky way too many times. I feel like Milan are the team that dropped the 2 points, and we barely scraped by. Clean sheet is a positive. I know Zach was mentioning that a clean sheet is always a positive, but yeah, it was a strange game to watch for sure. There was a lot of just misses and weird stuff going on. It was a frustrating game.
I mean, I think in addition to, I feel like both teams playing, for lack of a better term, like Allegri ball, there were some tactical things that I think slowed the game down even more. And I might be the only one, and I could be totally off.
The game was basically the Spider-Man pointing at each other, Tudor with Allegri pointing at each other.
I do want to give Tudor some credit for one thing that I felt like I noticed. I think for as long as he was in the game, he had, every time Magnan had the ball in his hands, he had Jonathan David like crowding him. Jonathan David was intentionally trying to slow down any counter that Milan was trying to put out there. And to me, that was a smart move. We did not see, and actually when David came out and Openda wasn't doing the same thing sometime around the 80th or so minute, you saw that they had a counter. They played the ball out wide once, and in 2 passes, it was up the field to Leao. So I think that was a good move. If that was calculated, I think that was smart, knowing how Allegri was going to want to play out of the back really fast.
Was Dusan in at that point? Because that's a huge culprit of not putting pressure on the.
Probably. Yeah, no, it was the two of them.
Buongiorno.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry, I totally disrupted
the positives. Freddie's our negative Nancy. Maybe I'll just be I'll be positive Pietro, and I'll try to.
We have to write this down.
I'll be realistic, Randy.
Oh my God, you guys are writing content.
It pains me.
It's a fair point, but it's at the end of the day, we can discuss and analyze all we want, but I think that the synopsis of everything is we lack quality in our players and in our manager. And if we come out and say we're fine with obtaining 4th and seeing what Champions League brings, is it fine? I don't know. I think as a team as big as Juventus, you should always strive for the utmost. But if there's like a bigger point behind and a bigger view and a look into the future of what we're trying to achieve, then maybe I can go along with it. But at this point, it just feels like we're doing this and hoping for something to stick, and that's what irritates me the most. Like, you don't see anything. You just don't get any gratification. It's watching these games and always like you could eat like 7 plates and still be hungry. That's the feeling I get watching this Juventus. There's never any gratification. The only time we had that was against Inter, and that was also, let's be honest, Adzic who pull something out of his hat.
Hmm.
Um,
Thank you. We're on
uh,
YouTube.
yeah, I forget sometimes. Adzic pulled something out of his hat, and we managed to win. But there were atrocious mistakes that were made that game as well. But of course, that final minute winner overshadows everything, which
Hmm.
is normal. But if you zoom out and you look at the games and you analyze them, then I don't know. There's barely anything left to get excited over, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's good that we have an international. There's like 3 international breaks. Like I think it's September, October, November, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah,
regardless,
October 11th, October 14th, national teams play.
yeah. So I think like this is actually kind of a good. This kind of falls into our favor to where we kind of after the first the before the first break, excuse me, we were like we were going in, with full head of steam. We had a couple wins under our belt, and then we came back. We played Inter, but then we kind of fizzed out a little bit. So hopefully we can take this little break and come back and forget about these 5 draws and kind of pick up like we
And then
did.
draw again.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed here. But
Yeah.
I completely disagree with you, by the way. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Uh-oh.
It
Uh-oh.
was mean. It sounded meaner than I mean
Disagreement,
it.
disagreement, Danny.
There
No,
we
I mean,
go.
I think for players, if you're hungry and if you want, to obtain the best results, then the best thing you could do is just get into it again, like that payback kind of feeling. Now, being transferred from one team to another, where everything is a bit more social because you're, in your national team, you speak the same language. It relieves the pressure, but I think we need a lot more pressure in order
It's like a
to.
summer camp.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm returning to my fellow national team players. Yeah, shame what happened to Juventus against that Milan game, but I think we need that tension in order to strive a bit more. And you have negative tension and positive tension as well. What I want to see is that positive tension. Like I want to see players disappointed when we leave the pitch after that 0-0 draw, and
Totally agree
just
on that.
being frustrated and coming back with a vengeance. But I don't see that. I that's the thing that irritates me as well. You don't see that disappointment. They were hugging and then saluting each other, and I mean, yeah,
Let
I
them
just
hug,
don't get
bro.
that. No, I just don't get that. Get a bit of, if and you have to be a bit, you have to have a bit more self-respect and say, okay, we didn't do anything, everything we could. This is on us, and you need to
Yeah.
be a bit frustrated and angry afterwards. And not, yeah, Cambiaso was there like he just won the Ballon d'Or or something. To
You guys
me,
mind if I? You guys mind if I? Sorry, Freddie. Do you mind
no,
if I
it's
read a
okay, it's okay.
question from the
Sure,
audience?
sure,
I
sure, sure,
posted
sure.
on our Instagram at Turin Giants, and our good friend of the podcast, Michael Calabrese, is asking: is Tudor being too conservative? The 3-4-3 is very attack-minded, yet he plays Kalulu at the right wing back, which causes issues when building up on the right, asking Conceição to basically create everything with no support. If we're going to continue with this formation, shouldn't we go all out on attack? Who wants to take on this beast of a question? Or we can just leave it as a comment.
No,
You
it's a
guys are
very good question.
very
I
good
mean,
question.
I'm surprised we have viewers and followers of that intellect, to be honest. But a very good question. No, no, no. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think Tudor wants to play it safe. I think Tudor knows that this is for him a once in a lifetime chance.
Exactly.
After this, no matter how it will end, there will be no team that will come close to the level of professionalism of Juventus that will hire Tudor as a coach. Why not? He's not the best coach in the world. Let's be honest. He's very rigid, not flexible. And I think he just has a sense that, if I play it safe, no harm will
My
come
job
to
is
me.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the case because he's being watched with, a couple of people that, really interested in what he does and what the future holds. And he was basically brought in this season as a necessity, not as a choice, but by necessity.
Well,
So
Yorio, I know I wanted to catch Yorio before he goes to bed. I love how our viewers now announce when they go to bed, but I love it. He deserves it. Have a good night, boss. His earlier question or comment, I should say, he says that I don't think Komoli will be as patient with Tudor like Juntali was with Mota. If we don't get results, I can see him being sacked. What do you say, Frederick?
Of course, Giuntoli and Mutor, Giuntoli and Mutor,
Muto.
Giuntoli and Motta were symbiotes in the sense that Giuntoli wanted Motta, contacted him, and it would be a loss, a face for him if he supported the public by saying, "Okay, we're gonna have to get rid of him," because that would mean that he would have to admit his mistake. This is completely different. Comoli was the last person that wanted Tudor, the very last. It was Chiellini who had to persuade him. And, of course, the negative responses from both Conte and Gasperini also helped in that regard. So let's just say that the Comoli, even though, overall he's not the kind of manager or general director that has a lot of patience. He's also very aware of the fact that Tudor has received an opportunity thanks to Chiellini, and he needs to prove himself, and he's not doing that right now. And I think Comoli will not be hesitant if he sees that this trend is not something that we can turn around to get rid of Tudor.
That's kind of refreshing, right?
Yeah, but the issue is, what are we going to bring in? And that's the same. You have to better yourself, whether it be on the managerial side, coach side, player side. You always, if you have an opportunity to better yourself, you should go for it. If bettering yourself or the alternative is a bit of a risk or something you're not aware of what might happen, then you need to leave us be. So I'll leave
I
that up to Comoli. I mean, who am I to get in the mix? But
Hey man, you're Freddy Scoops. Don't sell yourself short. If I'm Comoli, I am going for Del Neri. I'm hiring Del Neri because why not, right?
serious question: who should we hire?
That's a great question.
Just assume
Somebody mentioned Klopp in the comments. It's been it's been a dream, but
No.
I don't know if he's gonna go for it.
I see Palladino popping up in the chat. Well, his name.
Yeah.
I'm not so
Oh,
sure.
actual Paladino.
It's that's the thing. It's always a gamble, no matter who you bring in. But
I think we'll hear Deschamps' name come up after the World Cup next summer if we're switching coaches.
Man, I really hope Tudor stays until next summer.
I really think that I could be mistaken, but I feel that we should go for Zidane. And I know people saying Zidane can't coach a team from scratch. He needs to have superstars and all that. But I disagree. I think Zidane could be a very, very good coach, especially in terms of players look up to him. And if you come in and you demand 120% as a coach with the aura and the history that Zidane has, you'll give 120%. And Zidane is also somebody who is not afraid to take risks. And I don't know, it could go very well, it could go very wrong. But apart from that name, I don't see any coaches or names of coaches that I have, a comfortable feeling with, to be honest. So it's difficult. It's difficult.
For sure. It's a gamble, Let me get rid of.
Well, hopefully we can turn it around and we don't have to be in this boat. You know what I mean? Knock on wood.
I mean, he has to win the next game. What is the next?
We have to win. We have to turn our results around.
Como, that's
Very
right.
difficult game. Very difficult game.
Como, Real Madrid, and then Lazio, I believe.
That's right. I actually cannot wait for October 22nd. That's when we face Real Madrid. If you live in or around Chicago, reach out to us. We will be watching with the official fan club of Chicago here. Or if you live in a large city or near a large city, find yourself a local UF fan club or start one yourself. It's always super fun to meet new people, watch the games. I feel like we go to a bar where Real Madrid supporters go, and I hope we show them a little force of our representation, right? I really hope we
I hope you don't mean on the pitch. You mean on the pitch as well?
I thought the same thing.
No, I'm talking fans.
Okay. Fan wise, no discussion there. I think you'll be able to compete, but on the pitch.
Well,
and
going back to Zidane here, LJJ saying that Zidane is taking over France, like a country,
it's an option. Yes,
he
just made the whole government fall. He just went into France with a big ass tank.
If I'm France, I'm letting Zidane do whatever he wants, right?
No, but
Actually,
there's a possibility.
speaking of Zidane, getting older now and realizing that that individualism is kind of gone from the game. That there's two players that I've seen. All of you boys have seen them as well. I feel like the two players that we've seen live. I'm not talking Maradona. I saw Maradona once in the '94 World Cup when it was nothing. It was like a goal against Greece, and then he went home on doping charges. But the two players that were pleasure to watch were Zidane and Ronaldinho. I feel like
Baggio?
they just stand out. I caught a little bit of Baggio, but sure. You're old enough to see Baggio, Damiano?
I was a little kid, but I do.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him in the World
Just-
Cup.
Yeah, he was
I watched
something
him in the World Cup. Yeah, but
I saw Baggio twice, I think. I saw Baggio
live in person.
Live?
in person. Yes.
Oh
yes.
wow! Yeah, I never
Yes.
saw him live.
But for me, no doubt in my mind, Del Piero Zidane.
Yeah.
What they could do with a ball was. I mean, I spoke about Zidane before in a previous podcast. I think it was last year's one. When you see him play, it was like a magician. Like he had the ball taped to his feet or whatever, or with
Mhm.
strings, but with Del Piero, pre-injury Del Piero, even it was the same. Like it was. We speak about Kenan Yildiz, and I don't want to take anything away from Kenan, but if I compare what Del Piero could do with Kenan or what he actually did, there's no comparison. And then special shout out to Francesco Totti. Francesco Totti
Love
was.
it.
I hate him as a person, especially because of the rivalry and just the way that he comes across at times. But football wise, he was on a different planet, and it's gonna be long because now it's Haaland this, Mbappe that, Yamal this. But if we compare, and I know it's difficult because it's different type of football and whatever, but intrinsic quality, talent, and just no, nobody rivals.
Jurgen is shouting out Javi as well. Yeah.
Nah,
No.
nah,
No
no,
love. No love for
no.
Javi.
I have to agree with Freddie. Zidane was in a class all on his own. I'm old enough to have
Insane.
seen Maradona. I saw Maradona at the World Cup in 1990. Baggio, another one in 90 and 94. But Zidane, his class with the ball. And for some reason, the way he made it look so effortless to me was always most amazing. It just looked like he wasn't trying. Pirlo had a little of that same effect on the ball, but not to the level of Zidane.
First of all, podcast idea. We get as many co-hosts as possible, and we just name players and just talk about the memories. I don't think we've ever done like a really relaxed podcast. We just shout out names and talk about and if we seen them live or second. When Pirlo played for Juve, I always had this phrase in my head when he was just circling around himself in the midfield. I always thought not even God himself can come down and take the ball away from Pirlo. It felt like just nothing can happen. Same thing with Zidane. Freddie mentioned his, the ball taped to his feet. There could have been a player coming from the right. There could have been a player coming from the left. And Zidane would do something to eliminate both of them in one little move that was so elegant. Just, sometimes you're just given talent from up above, man. I guess he was one of them. I don't know how this podcast ended up being a Zidane podcast, but why not, right?
Zizou.
Yeah. I'm still working on the shirts to release.
That's how bad the game was, Farhad.
Yeah, right. We're talking about players who are retired.
I mean, another question, and it's a very.
We're gonna go soon. Let's wrap it up. But yes, go ahead.
Just one.
Frederick.
Would we have won with a prime Zidane in our squad yesterday?
Yes. How am I gonna say no after all this, right?
But I mean, that fortifies my whole point.
Who was going to score if Zidane didn't? Because it didn't. Leao played 20 minutes. He had more shots than all three of our strikers combined.
I feel like Zidane and Kostic would have been a deadly combination. Zidane, Kostic, and Del Neri at the helm. That would have been a Juve I want to see.
Yeah, you had to make it weird again, Farhad. You had to make it weird again. But that's my whole point. Like, if you don't have quality, then you're done with. And that goes for every era of football. We had quality, we had mentality. If you put that two together, then you know it would be amazing. Ooh, that's
Yeah.
a nice question.
That's a nice question to finish up today's episode number 318. Again, 318, 318. We'll ask a question from the audience. Saucy McSauce, first of all, love your name. I don't think it's a real name. It's his real name though. But he's asking if you could make any signing in January, who would it be and why? Who wants to take on this beast of a question? Let's take a second to think about it.
I'll go first,
We got to
if I
categorize
may.
dream signing or realistic signing. Then I'll let Freddie go. But
Yeah,
If you can make one signing, I think he's thinking more of a realistic signing. Freddie, floor is yours.
I'd go for McTominay.
Nice.
For me, he ticks all the boxes of a modern day footballer. And I think he can add a lot of quality to our midfield. And I think he's the type of player that makes every player around him 10% better just by doing what he does and doing it so well and so thoroughly thought out of that you have like you're playing with 12 men. I always get this vibe. I think if he didn't play at Napoli at this point, I don't think Napoli would end up top five even. I really feel that he's a thriving force behind Napoli. And I always thought that even last season. And if you look at his statistics, the goals that he creates, the assists, he's a very complete midfielder. And that's the one thing we're lacking sorely at this point, in my opinion.
I was going to say just a midfielder because I wasn't sure.
Just any random midfielder.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, we should get that's the department that we should kind of invest in January.
The attacking midfielder, I imagine.
Something that makes plays.
We will.
Uh-oh. Don't let me play it.
Just no Cope Miners. We got to get rid of no Cope Miners. Can we get rid of them?
Should we end with a scoop?
Nah, scoop. I wouldn't be surprised if you get 3 players in January, and not just 3 any random. Oh, Serie B 18 games under his belt kind of player. I think, depending on the coach's situation, I think we'll get some thorough signings.
The next episode of the Scoop would be like, how many are we going to get rid of? Because we're carrying some dead weight. We are carrying.
I'm hoping 4 at least.
There you go. I'd rather hear that than the signings. But just to answer your question real quick, the viewer's question, if I had to give you a name, I would be in that sort of attacking midfield department.
Mm-hmm.
I might go like a Tijani Reinders, someone who's played really well. I like the McTominay shout. I think we definitely need to shore up the midfield. Our midfield is, although I also think we can't clearly assess what our midfield can do. I know it's a small piece Mideti's missing, but also we haven't committed to playing 3 central midfielders. I think then we'd be able to see their qualities together. But with the double pivot, I don't know that we can even get a clear assessment of what our needs are. And I hope, with Damiano's point earlier, let's go to the international break and come back with a different attitude.
Yeah.
My dream wouldn't be a signing, would be for Tudor to wake up and come out and try a 4-3-3 coming out of the break. Take this week and a half to kind of coach it up a little bit, see what he has as far as
that'll be amazing if he takes this time and
I don't see it happening, but that would be my dream over a signing.
Realizes that maybe we should play around with the formations and stop being so conservative. And I honestly agree with Frederick when he says that Tudor is just too scared for his job. It's, his reputation's on the line, his Juve aura is on the line. He's drawing these couple of games that were won, maybe not even a couple. The Inter game that was last second strike by Adzic was great, but that was going to be a draw as well. He kind of saved them there and gave us some few days of celebration, but playing too conservatively. But we can talk about it a little bit more later on later podcast. Last thing from the comments here, Seasiders TV saying pair up to Turan brothers. That'll be amazing, right? For Papa Turan, both of them playing for Juve. The another page in the Juve Inter rivalry, that would be amazing. But yeah, we'll see. Boys and girls, please tune in to our audio version of the podcast with Uncle Beppe, with Gigius Juve. I keep calling him Uncle Beppe, but the handle is Gigius Juve. We'll be on his episode on Thursday. I know the last 5 episodes I was absent, traveling and stuff like that. The boys had a chance to gel with him. There was a wave of new followers for us, so we thank Beppe for giving us the chance. But I'll be on it, so it'll be a little different. I'm gonna bring a little panache into the situation. We're gonna put Uncle Beppe in a hot seat. We will I'll quiz him about his knowledge of Juve, because he's him and his big channel there being untested. We're gonna test his knowledge. God damn it! So tune in on Thursday. Always super fun to chat with Uncle Beppe. Jack, Damiano, Frederick, you guys are the best. Thank you so much, bringing us a little clarity here after the strange 0-0 tie against Milan. Like we've mentioned a couple of times, international break is coming up. Italy plays Estonia on Saturday, October 11th, and then Israel on October 14th. The first game is away, second game is at home. So, yeah, thank you guys in the chat. This is we were in double digit viewers almost the entire podcast. So Alessandro Belpiero loves you, and so do we. Boys and girls, check on your friends, stay hydrated, and Forza Juve.
In the middle of a railroad track, moved around, and I knew there was no turning back. My mind raced, and I thought, what could I do? And I knew there was no help from you.